You can get your drink. Don't worry though. Hello, everybody.
All right, I'll be back in 3.5
I can hear you
minutes.
doing that now. Yes, we're
Three's
late,
precisely
Teabag.
3.5.
Uh, in case you couldn't hear, that was our guest, actual Justice Warrior. Hello, everybody. It's your boy.
Hello.
Hail Caesar. That is not the historical Caesar, but Ethan Van Sciver, the eloquent yet humble man. And with me is one co-host, because one is currently, I don't know where he is, but he'll turn up, I assume. Alkazai, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. I had half of a massive Easter egg for somebody. My nan bought it me. Oh, maybe she got it for free. I don't know. But anyway, I can't finish it. It's too much, even for me.
Rip.
Rip. Well, rip the egg, because in a couple of hours I'll be finishing it off. But anyway, today's stream will be talking about loads of stuff. I think it'll be mainly an American thing because I've been catching up with actual Justice Warriors content. I swear I was
Yeah.
subbed. YouTube unsubbed me, unless I accidentally unsubbed, which could possibly have happened. I don't know. I did purge a few channels that I just don't watch,
Oh,
but I
something
do
else.
watch actual Justice Warrior, just so we
Yeah.
knows.
Just so you know, we love we love our guest today, but our guest is
we love
getting water
we
at the
love
moment.
Chadus Hispanicus.
Channis Hispanicus. Well, what's really I don't know why, but we don't have a libertarian identifier because that's how
We
Sean
should
is.
do.
Yeah, we should. But the thing is, I
How
was
do
like,
we
oh
not?
wait, I don't know. So I just gave him classical liberal, and I remember saying in a live stream that he was a big fan of Ludwig von Mises. So I just assumed that was his
He's
econ
not.
school.
He struck me as a Hayekian. I don't know why. Oh well. I guess
Well,
it's
he
just
could
me
be
and
a
the cat.
Hayekian. I asked him. He said, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine." He doesn't give a shit.
It's
But hey,
Austrian.
also, let's see. Sean now has a Discord server. So if you would like to join his Discord server, you can. It's in the description of his latest
You can
video.
also post it in the chat if you'd like to.
Yeah, I will do that.
So my internet's being a bit slow.
It is. Am I cutting out? Because I've
No,
managed to try to fix.
you are fine. For some reason, my
Yeah, okay.
internet has been very slow recently. I even uninstalled my VPN to make things quicker, but it just no.
Fetching your.
So while actual Justice Warrior is getting some water, some Christopher water, tell
Wow.
me what have you been up to, Alkazai, since we last spoke? Oh,
I'm
Captain
officially done with
Swiss is
high
in the
school
chat.
now.
How you doing? Sorry, how you doing, Captain Swiss?
Captain Swiss, what's up? Anyways, I am now officially done with high school. I haven't graduated yet, technically, but I took my last
Yay,
exam
you're growing
yesterday.
up.
Or Thursday. I
Cause
don't remember anymore.
yeah, because high school over for you finishes at like 18. We call it sixth form. It's completely different.
Yeah. Well, I also ended a lot earlier than usual. Usually we finish early May,
Well, an
but now
international plague could do that to you.
well, even before the pandemic. That was the plan.
Uh,
All right,
usually,
I'm posting the link to Sean's Discord server in the chat if you would like to join that, and I suggest you do. I'm a moderator there and helped him set it up because Sean's a
put it in the
boomer.
YouTube chat as
I'm
well
not a
for
boomer.
the people. Well, how old are you? We must discern what generation you're part of.
What?
We need to discern what generation you're part of. You're not a boomer, are you?
No,
Millennial?
I'm generation the best one ever.
Millennial then?
I don't know. Whichever group I'm in is the best.
How old are you if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 97 years old.
Ooh, that's well, that is the greatest generation, isn't it?
That's right.
So
He
anyway,
stormed the beaches of Normandy.
to those who don't know who you are, can you describe yourself in a few words, actual Justice Warrior?
Oh, okay. I'm a guy. I make videos on the internet
Mm-hmm.
for a website called YouTube, and I talk about, in all seriousness, I talk about political topics, crime topics, because I have a background in criminal justice,
Mm-hmm.
and other topics like that.
So is that why you're called actual Justice Warrior, and it's not just a reference to the meme?
Oh, I hate the like social justice
Mm-hmm.
like movement. So I call myself actual justice warrior because I'm educated in criminal justice,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe a lot of the social justice stuff isn't really justice.
Oh, you know what's interesting? YouTube actually
Individual
notified
justice.
me that you shared my video. I didn't know they could do that.
I didn't know that either.
That's very interesting.
Is you all right?
Alright,
You're also a
getting
libertarian, which I think is important to note.
Which side of the libertarian battle are you on? Because if it's one thing I know about libertarians and ANCAPs, they love fighting each other. But it's amongst, I find it's some of it's the most like heartwarming. Like it's not heartwarming. It's the most easiest in fighting. Like it's not they're not like it's not like the SJWs where they try to ruin their lives. You get occasional doxers, but by and large, it's more it's less, serious. If you know what I mean, I can't explain it, but
They're more
you know what I mean?
united than like the left, who split over the most
It's
minute
just
things.
that when the infight is more funny than actually damaging. But
Oh.
occasionally, some people do go over the line. Would you agree with
Right.
that? Actual Justice Warrior? I don't know.
You could just call me Sean.
Okay, Sean. I'll call you Sean. Just wasn't sure.
It's all right. Yeah, I look. I'm generally in the camp of infighting is kind of dumb. So, as long as you're trying to move government in the right direction, which is smaller and less involved in our personal and economic lives, then I don't want to fight with you. I do, I am aware of like philosophical libertarianism and all that stuff. But you're 100% right when you say that they literally just split over the silliest things over and over again. That just happens.
I mean, just look at the political party in the US itself. I mean, you can't get more stereotypically libertarian or lolbertarian. That's that, really.
Yeah, there's a libertarian debate from 2016, and I'll never forget it. They, one of the candidates is like, "Who's ready to get rid of driver's licenses?" And everybody cheers insanely. And you're like, yeah, no random person is going to enjoy this.
They should move to Nigeria because there are no driving licenses there. It's true. I met a Nigerian taxi driver and he said, I didn't need to get my license when I was over there. Then when I moved over here, I had to actually get one in order to drive, even though I already knew how to drive. He was a good driver, by the way.
And there's an argument that driver's licenses aren't really that important. Like, it's just kind of a thing that we establish. But if you think about a road test, I don't know what you guys have to go through to get a driver's license. But for me, it's make a right turn, make a left turn, make a broken U-turn, and parallel park. Like, that's not that hard.
Over here,
It depends on each state.
Over here, you start at 17, and you have a theory test. Everybody has a theory test first. I don't know how to drive, but I know vaguely what they do. So you pass your theory test. That's knowing the rules of the road, knowing all the symbols. Yeah, it's actually really straightforward. Like, I remember my dad. He used to be a driving instructor. He had a book with all the stuff in it. You can easily learn it. It's not hard. And then you've got to actually do the practical test, and then. It's easy to pass the theory, but then you've actually got to do the practical, and loads of people, it takes them a while.
Yeah, that's how it usually works here. In Missouri, you can get your permit 15 after you pass like a test, like similar to a theoretical test. It's just a written test.
You don't need to pass your theory or practical to get a provisional license, though, and you can actually drive things with that anyway, like mopeds and things like that.
Yeah.
Not
so
that
like
I would drive a moped.
Then if you pass the written test, you get a permit, and after 6 months of having a permit, you can take the test to get your license. But if you're 15, you're gonna have to wait till you're 16.
Right.
So you still have to wait. Most people still have to wait a year. And in Kansas, they let you get a permit at 14, give you a limited license at 15, which means you can go to school and work, and that's about it. And then your recreational license at 16.
Do you
which
put
is
the green
everything else.
P passes? Hey, here he is. We were worried about you. Also, that wasn't me. That was Alcazar atting you several times.
Did you fall asleep?
Blame the germ boy. Don't blame me.
So here we just have.
No, actually, I was just taking a walk and I walked 3 miles in under an hour.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're not too late, so you're fine.
Did we already start?
Yeah.
Wait, we're in the Hangout Lounge. I just realized. Do you want to go to the live stream?
Oh, leave it. It doesn't matter.
All right.
All right.
But unless you all want to move, but then it'd be a bit weird for the audience.
I mean,
yeah,
it's locked anyway, so it's not like people can jump in, right?
Yeah. Well.
We're just gonna trust that the people in the Discord server are gonna be nice and not jump in.
They'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So anyway, how was your walk?
Pretty good.
Did you?
It's like 75 degrees out.
Did you get your vitamin D?
What?
Did you get your vitamin D?
Yes.
Good. So anyway, actual justice warrior, Chicago liberal, actual justice warrior.
Sup? I own this cesspool.
He does.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
When did you first discover, like, I guess we'll say the culture war? Like, when did you notice there was this political divide growing in all over the world, but more particularly in the West? And when did you decide that?
Well, mostly online circles and
Yeah.
very online people.
Mm-hmm. When did you decide that you're against social justice and stuff like that? Go on.
Well, I always had an opposition to it, even if before I knew what it was.
Mhm.
It's this idea of group justice over individual justice. It also didn't help that I have my educational background in criminal justice. So when you're taking these classes that are social justice classes and then criminal justice classes, and you're getting completely different numbers, facts, and information on the same exact subject, you have to notice that something is wrong. And that's what I saw a lot of online when people would talk about crime cases or anything like that. It's just a fundamental lack of legal knowledge, and that's what really got me involved into making the channel and why I try to do more crime stuff, although YouTube isn't very kind to that. So sometimes I just have to disguise that as a response video.
Like Donut Operator, for example, he does a lot of crime stuff because he was a. I assume you've heard of him, Donut Operator.
No.
He's just
Or
a
just
former,
phrase it.
He's a former cop who does a lot of response videos to like police action, so like shootouts and things like that, and he just breaks it down about how the cops do it.
Yeah.
So what did you want to say,
Right.
Chicago?
Oh, well, there's one way to go and get around it, and it's just phrase it like all of the crime stuff that you're talking about is only in Minecraft. Boom. Problem
There
solved.
you go. Millions of subscribers later.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Minecraft knows everything.
You're also particularly known for for criticizing the Young Turks, especially Hassan Piker.
They're
But
one of
you don't
they're
call him that.
They're one of the worst offenders in terms of bad criminal justice reporting. And although I have a reputation for criticizing Jenk's nephew, I don't know who this Hassan person is you're speaking of, but I do have a
Basically,
reputation
discounts
for that.
Jank.
It's a joke.
If you look at my backlog, I don't have that many videos on him specifically.
Yeah, I did say that it's just you're most known for because those are your most viral videos.
Now, some of them, yeah, for sure. Although my most one is Adam Ruins Everything. I'm just saying.
It is.
Oh, I hate him. He's the one with the horrible quiff, isn't he?
No, there's an excellent meme of him, and it says like, actually, you can't come until I let you.
Actually, is that where that
Uh.
meme comes from?
You can't come without my permission.
Oh,
Well, what's really fascinating about a guy like Adam Conover is that if you watch him on the Joe Rogan podcast, you realize how much of him is just a show. Like it's all the production, all the takes, and all that. Because on live, he doesn't have much to him. Like he's not particularly knowledgeable about any of the topics that he talks about.
Yeah, because I mean, he has a team of researchers, which is obvious. So
I do wonder if that's sometimes a tactic to appear less extreme than they actually are. Because I've seen that a lot in some of the early debates when I first started watching this kind of stuff, and then later on doing it myself. There was a lot of the SJW YouTubers would definitely tone themselves down when they were talking to anti-feminists as it was at the time, and then later on they would make a stream where they would go full hilt and basically attack and be completely uncharitable to the person who very kindly debated them, and was very charitable to their positions. I mean, it happened to Sargon so many times.
Well,
yeah,
a perfect example of somebody who kind of hides the ball, and I think I was talking about it with Alkazai, is the Knowing Better guy, because
he's a sophist.
he would do YouTube videos, and some of them are actually pretty interesting, like
Yeah, some of them
Moderate
are good.
Guide that I didn't watch. I did find a lot of his Columbus video interesting. The
I
first
did as
one,
well,
not the apology video.
yeah.
But he came out as like an ultra progressive, but you could have known that from watching his video on Jordan Peterson, where he takes a complete misstatement and turns it into a whole video about how
Forthright
he's a
comment.
secret Nazi.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what's very surprising about him is that he's a vet, isn't he? Right?
Yeah, he's a veteran of, I think,
And he's
Afghanistan.
and he's totally for the draft, and it's like, really?
I'm pretty sure he's hawkish on foreign policy.
Yeah, very interesting, and like I remember a lot.
Man, he posted cringe.
He did, and he did a video on MRAs, didn't he? And that was a train wreck, because
Well, I could understand why a vet would be in favor of the draft, because the Iraq and Afghanistan wars were not kind to the veterans of those wars. They had to go and do multiple tours of duty that they would not have done had we had a larger military. So I
Yeah,
can actually understand that position, even from a progressive point of view, because you're not concentrating
I don't
it on a
think that was
largely
his-
poor population that joins the military.
I think that wasn't actually his take. That was it. I think it was more along gendered lines, if I remember correctly, and he didn't think it was an issue, like a men's rights issue. And I think I can't remember it now. It was a while ago. I'll have to rewatch it now. But I remember thinking it was not like you said it was. It was more of a gendered thing. He was completely roasted by a lot of MRA YouTubers because it was literally just feminist talking points.
also, I saw something funny. It's something a bit of a horseshoe theory, if you could say.
Mhm.
On the Bad History subreddit, they criticized his YouTube video about Christopher Columbus and said it was blatant conservative propaganda.
But it's not.
And I'm like,
because
dude, it's so obvious that he's not even like centrist. He's not even, let alone right wing. Like, how the fuck could you say that?
He pretends to be centre left. I would say, the moderate's guide. He's obviously not a moderate.
Right.
You're right. He literally pretends to be one.
And he apologized for that video, and that video, like some of the information in that video was just solid, like information.
If anything,
Like
it's
blaming
Jordan that's the moderate.
Like blaming Columbus for stuff that happened, 30 or 43 years after he died, doesn't make any sense. Like, and that was a big point in his video, because Columbus died, I think in 1503 or something, or 1507. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I can have a look.
Some
if you
Google
want.
nerd can look that up and correct me in the comments.
His Hawaii video was pretty good. His video on Japanese war crimes in China was pretty good. So he produces
What
regularly
war
good
crimes?
content.
If he kept doing that, I would have kept watching.
Well, his latest video on climate change policy wasn't too bad because he basically destroys like renewable energy, but like I wish he would have gone way more into like the benefits of nuclear power than he did.
It's probably because ideologically he probably can't because of his fan base,
Well,
Right.
maybe. I don't know.
or maybe he
Well,
just
that's
doesn't think it's that good. Who knows?
It makes sense to moderate your beliefs, because on YouTube there's very little tolerance for the ultra woke social justice stuff. Like YouTube, the company loves that, but
Mhm.
and the mainstream media loves it, but look at the likes and to dislike ratios on those
Yeah.
kind of videos.
Because I remember I've seen BreadTube try desperately to get the views that a lot of anti-SUWs used to get back in the day. It's like Pig Puncher. Do you remember him? He's got a different name now, but he tried to make an anti-SUW cringe video compilation. Didn't get anywhere near the feminist cringe compilations back in the day that you'd used to watch.
Oh God, wrecked feminist videos who would just steal
Yeah.
clips from other people and profit off of it.
Yeah, but well, that's an.
Oh yeah,
industry on
I
Facebook.
hate those people.
I know, but I think it helped a lot of people change their opinions on watching.
I guess it was useful to a
Yeah.
certain extent, but it was
They
still.
should credit people though. I do agree, because that's
Yeah.
actually against the YouTube terms of service. If it's another YouTube,
Like, and he set up a Patreon for it, and I'm like, oh my God,
did they? I actually just thought it was literally just finding stuff on the internet and then just posting.
no,
it.
I'm pretty sure he has a Patreon.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know he was. Is he still going?
I don't think so.
It's a
Let me
shame.
see.
But have you what was it? Speaking of, that was your last video that I watched that wasn't to do with straight up politics. Was the one about Michael Moore? Because I heard vaguely what had happened to him, and I thought, well, they're eating each other. It was only a matter of time that they went for him. I didn't realize it was about.
Yeah, he still has a Patreon.
I didn't think he would actually make it the film that he made. I'm actually shocked.
Oh,
that he would.
well, to be clear, Michael Moore didn't make that film.
Well,
he
he
just slapped his
produced
name
it.
on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and
technically
he
makes him a
uploaded
filmmaker, So
he uploaded it onto his YouTube channel, and it's interesting because a lot of what is in that movie about green energy is stuff that made me change my position on nuclear power, because I used to think nuclear power, danger,
Yep.
radiation. Oh
Yeah,
no.
because you watch The Simpsons.
Not even that. It's Thunderfoot has a good explanation on this, on how we fear
Well,
radiation because
Ukraine.
it's invisible. So
Yeah.
you know, everything about it is scary. And also the China syndrome really hurt nuclear power in this country, because that
Yeah.
movie came out a week before 3 Mile Island melted down.
Yeah, I also think The Simpsons really did a number as well, because like it was Simpsons was released like 15 years after 3 Mile Island, and it like portrayed Mr. Burns as like a dickhead. It still does, I guess.
well, yeah,
Uh,
he's big business bad.
Yeah, so and the time we probably could have healed from that like image of like nuclear radiation poisoning literally everything. It was undone by The Simpsons.
Yeah. I mean, there's just an overall idea that nuclear power is dangerous, and if you look at like some of the worst meltdowns, the amount of deaths don't stack up nearly to the people who die when there isn't a problem with a coal-fired power plant,
Yeah.
or there isn't a problem with any other form of energy.
Like,
So-
how many people do you think have died of black lung over the years, especially like coal miners?
Millions, possibly
Millions, yeah,
You
right?
could argue billions if you think about it.
Tens
Maybe.
of people.
Yeah, and like, and how many people has like nuclear radiation killed, excluding like Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
No, well, that's not nuclear power.
That was more nuclear.
Those
weapons,
were also
wasn't it?
justified too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but like people still like to argue, but the atomic bomb with nuclear.
That's another
Yeah, well, who cares?
That's another misperception, that the idea that a nuclear power plant could be turned into a nuclear bomb. That's
No.
just not the case.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
Yeah,
And if you're still so afraid of them,
uranium altogether, so
If Chernobyl's failsafe had worked, it would still be habitable.
yeah. And the thing is, even if let's say if there even fucking was like a way you could turn like uranium or make a nuclear power like nuclear weapons, you could just make like countries you're afraid of getting nukes, like just make them only use thorium, because you can't make weapons
just
out of
nuke 'em.
thorium.
Well, I mean, but also it's important to point out that even Chernobyl, which is the worst of the worst of a nuclear meltdown in our history, if you look at the death toll from Chernobyl, it's about 4,000 people that got, or not even the death toll, but like the negative health impact. It's about 4,000 people who got thyroid cancer that statistically wouldn't have gotten it prior, and thyroid cancer is one of the most treatable cancers.
Yeah.
well, and also the actual death toll is what, like 25?
Yeah, it's not that many. It's what I'm trying
is.
to say. Like Fukushima.
3 Mile Island would have killed more people if it actually did anything other than, go super critical for a few seconds.
Yeah, and the thing is, we very much know how to treat acute radiation syndrome now. It's still not a good thing to get, but it's by no means guaranteed that you're gonna die if you get acute radiation syndrome.
Well, then Japan, like, how many people do you think died in Fukushima?
Is it
Not that
even-
many.
Is it possible to even say?
Actually, no one in Fukushima died from the actual power plant.
That's what I was
Everyone in
thinking. I don't remember any deaths.
Everyone who died in Fukushima died because a tsunami hit them.
Yeah.
Well, no, not necessarily. The people who died in the area near the reactor, they died because they died fleeing the radiation that killed no one. So there were 2 people that died because they were yanked out of a hospital and tried to be transported out of there. Like,
Oh.
that's the Fukushima death toll.
You
People
could say
running
that's
from-
more
Wow, 2 people.
panic or
Yeah,
negligence.
that's what I'm saying. It's not radiation. It's 2 people who died due to panic about radiation.
Yeah.
But why?
But
Other
still,
than that,
But power plants bad.
But other than that, is there another reason why the left in particular don't like nuclear power? Because my city, believe it or not, is a nuclear-free city where I live.
Well, I think it's just because I think when you hear the word renewable, it sounds way nicer than nuclear. People have a very, especially like environmentalists and other left-wing people, and even to a certain extent, a lot of conservatives, have like this romantic idea of what renewable energy is, despite the fact that renewable energy is very toxic to
Yes.
the environment.
Well, not only is it toxic in that sense, but just looking at it, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's awful. It's
It-
awful looking.
The reason a lot of people on the left are against nuclear, and if you watch Planet of the Humans, this is the overarching message, because everything that they report in that movie, they could have substituted nuclear for, and it would have solved the problem. But the reason they're against it is because it works, and you wouldn't necessarily have to change the lives of every single person. You can't build your socialist utopia if you can essentially swap out the coal plants for nuclear plants and get cheaper energy. Like Japan, modern industrialized country, prior to Fukushima, used to get the majority of their nation's power through nuclear power. Like,
Yeah.
that's why they're
It's-
against it, really. Like,
I
people
thought
are
it still
obviously scared
does.
of it and ignorant about it, but that's really why your environmental organizations are against it.
So, what did you think about Extinction Rebellion? If you've had a chance to look into them,
Are they against nuclear power?
of course they are.
God.
It's Swedish and then is therefore automatically wrong.
They're
It's
English.
Sweden uses nuclear power though. They're like one of the
No, Extinction
top
Rebellion
users
is
per capita or
English.
some shit.
Extinction Rebellion is English, I think, aren't they? British?
Well,
Yeah, I
know
thought they were. Yeah.
No,
Greta
Greta
is
Thunberg
like-
is British, is Swedish, but Extinction Rebellion is British, as far as I know.
Yeah.
She has a different
the
organization.
founder of Extinction Rebellion talks about how he believes that the solution to this isn't really climate technology, it's reducing the human population and
it's
changing our
communism.
lifestyle. Yeah.
They've even admitted, because there's a YouTuber I watch called Shinobi Yaka. I think is he affiliated with us yet?
He's a Welsh samurai.
He is, and
Let him
scientifically
be.
literate. I think he might be some kind of scientist. He works. I don't know. He knows a lot. I think he might work in that industry. But he did a video on them, and basically what a lot of the leaders have said is, environmentalism is important and all, but it's a front for the revolution, basically.
Yeah, watermelons. They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Watermelon, yeah, that's a good. But hang on, they're green watermelons. So what's a yellow watermelon? Is that an ANCAP pretending? Is that an ANCAP but inside he's a commie?
What? I don't know.
What?
You know,
Yellow-
you get yellow watermelons, don't you?
Could be.
Maybe
Oh wait,
you
no,
do.
they're not red inside, are they? Okay, never mind.
Maybe
Ignore
you do in your crazy part of the world.
that. No, I
Maybe
hate
he's from
watermelons.
Manchester, and it's an entirely different world up there.
Well, no, I will have to send you guys a picture of yellow watermelons. Everybody knows what they look like.
Are you
Chat,
talking
tell
about a
them.
cantaloupe?
But anyway,
Watermelon.
yeah, I remembered that the yellow ones.
Dude,
are
yellow
red inside.
yellow watermelons are green on the outside and yellow on the inside.
Yeah, I know. That's why I realised that 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 it was wrong.
Oh my god, I'm looking at this horrific.
I know it's
thing.
horrible, isn't it? I hate watermelons, all of them, but that one in particular. Have you ever tried dragon fruit? Don't.
No, I haven't
No,
actually.
it's horrible. I remember once I saw it in a supermarket and I thought, hey, let's buy that because it looked nice on the outside. It's this really
Yeah, it looks
brightly
cool.
coloured fruit. So you get it, you cut it in half because you can't eat the skin. You chow down, there is no taste whatsoever. It's horrible. Dragon fruit, ladies and
I had
gentlemen.
no idea there was such thing as yellow watermelon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really?
it looks-
Wow.
It looks horrific.
I mean, there's two different types. There's one that is literally yellow, then there's the greeny one. But anyway, we must move on. So,
Well, also, by the way, if you want to know more about how nuclear power can help combat climate change, I suggest you look up Mike Schellenberger. He does a lot of writing on this topic, and he has a few good TED Talks on the subject.
So apparently, they reference Malthus. Yeah,
Oh yeah, a lot of these like eco fascists are pretty much just neo Malthusians, if you
The
ask
thing
me.
is, Malthus, his theories, they only really work in pre-industrial societies.
They didn't work then.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent they could in theory, but in practice, no. And he was proven wrong. But I don't think the basis of what he was saying was necessarily wrong. I think that it's been ran away with a group of alarmists. I would say, overpopulation. It isn't really a thing.
Yeah.
And eventually, our population is going to the world population is going to plateau anyway. They reckon that roughly about, was it 10 mil, 20 mil? It's gonna 20 bill. Sorry, it's gonna plateau and then it'll decline.
12
I don't,
billion,
I don't
something
even
like that.
think 20 billion is the right number. I think it's 10 billion.
Yeah,
is-
10.
Yeah, it's 10 to 12 billion.
That's what I was.
There's
trying
also orange watermelons. What the fuck?
Oh, ugh. But
I guess environmentalists on the outside and Christian Democrats on the inside.
no, mutualists.
Okay.
Because their colours are orange.
Well, also Christian Democrats are. The distributists.
So here's a question that I'd like to pose to you, Sean, which is something I've been thinking of recently. It's beyond 2024. So we know that whoever wins, say Trump wins, right, which is a strong possibility because of incumbent advantage.
Well, and also the idiot who's trying to unseat him.
But regardless of that, let's say he does win, because there is no absolutes. Only Sith stealing absolutes, as we know. But who replaces him? Because for a lot of people on my side, maybe your side too, because we're, I guess we're all strangely affiliated on the culture war. Trump's kind of seen as the anti-SJW president, isn't he? Would you agree?
I guess, yeah, he's a reaction
Yeah.
to a lot of this. I do have to point out one thing, that there's a white watermelon, apparently,
Ooh.
according to Jake Garofalo.
Even
It's just becoming a watermelon podcast.
Well, this
And I
is
just have
this
to
is why it's
say-
Spergonomics.
Well, I got that from the chat.
Welcome
so
to the
it's not
watermelon
confirmed.
cast.
I'm looking at it right now, and I hate what I'm seeing.
I just want to say
Thanks,
that
I hate
is
it.
that is a racist watermelon. If you eat
Dude,
that.
it looks like a birthday cake.
Maybe
It's
it is.
even more cursed.
So anyway, my point is,
Dude, like put some candles in there. It's like my next
Oh my
birthday, 19th
God,
birthday.
I'm
I'm having
looking at it too. Jesus.
okay, I'm gonna have to look this up before I get back on topic. Hang on, guys.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
horrific. Yeah, so
Water.
so I'm not sure who the Republicans will put forward to replace Trump. Like,
I have some theories.
it's hard to predict this sort of thing, but I will say Nikki Haley.
I think
is
they're
a
gonna
white
have
candidate.
Cringe Pirate Man try and replace
Cringe
Trump.
pirate. Do you mean Big Boss Dan Crenshaw?
And Crenshaw.
Yeah, well, I actually call him Cringe Pirate Man because
Cringe
he
Pirate
looks like a pirate and he's cringe.
Nah, I call him Big Boss because he literally looks like him. But
All right.
anyway, my actual point is, well, a lot of people consider Trump kind of moving the Overton window in the battle against the left. But let's be honest, there's also a fight against the mainstream conservative forces, Conservative Inc. as they're now called. But Louis Levi, I don't know, have you heard of him, the YouTuber?
Who?
Louis Levi.
No, I haven't heard of him.
He's like an American YouTuber as well. He calls them the internationalist right. You know, like the internationalist left are the communists, the internationalist right are the neocons, basically. I think that they will try to regain power again because they're still around and they've not exactly been defeated. And even though the Democrats are currently at a crossroads, I don't actually think because Biden is the nominee that necessarily the party has made its choice that communism is not the way forward. But
yeah, I actually have a very like, if you give me a second, I'll explain to you my position on that.
sorry, Judeus, we're streaming. Sorry.
Oh, I should have. Oh,
God
wait.
fucking damn
Let's
it.
move to live streaming then, shall we, guys?
Yeah.
We'll be back, guys. There we are. I have moved.
Oh, I was gonna make that. I forgot to make that stupid joke you say before you kicked someone. What's the shape of Italy?
Leave it to the Israelis to ruin everything.
He was trying to show us, obviously.
Yeah.
So I have an important update on the issue that you brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the watermelon colors that exist are canary yellow, scarlet red, coral red, which is pink, orange, and salmon yellow, and white.
Ew.
Oh my god.
Is this the inside as opposed to the outside, though?
Yes, this is all the inside.
Wow, that is interesting, to say the least.
I have no further comment. Also, there's a picture of a man with the watermelon that's.
Oh,
like
by the way,
size of-
Sean, you can have a wrench in the chat if you'd like.
Okay, perfect.
So,
So as for Trump, I don't think he's going to have as big an impact on the party overall, especially if he loses the next term, as people think. I tend to think that Trump came out of nowhere. It's not like Mitt Romney getting the nominee had a huge impact. Bush, after Bush left, the neocons, everybody thought they were discredited, but they immediately won the 2008 nomination and the 2012 nomination. So it just depends. So like a lot of people are saying Don Jr. will be the guy, but Crenshaw is a standard Republican. Nikki Haley, somebody who grows up in the Trump administration. And there could always be, a Hail Mary candidate. There's going to be a lot of celebrity attempted candidates for sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, it's going to be that person. Especially, we don't know how a second Trump term comes out, and we don't know how Trump maybe losing will come out, because losing impacts the party a lot.
My guess for the people who are going to run in 2024 for the Republican nomination, it's going to be Dan Crenshaw, Nikki Haley, Josh Hawley, and maybe Elaine Chao.
You mean 2028?
Elaine Chao. 2024, 2028, whatever.
Oh, yeah, it would be 2024, wouldn't it? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it would still be 2024.
Yeah.
It'll Dan Crenshaw, Nikki Haley, Josh Hawley, and Elaine Chao. Elaine Chao is my wild card.
Also, Mike Pence, obviously.
Mike Pence, obviously.
The electric fence.
Electric fence. So if you don't know who Josh Hawley and Elaine Chao are, Josh Hawley's a new senator from Springfield, Missouri. He's a Missouri senator. He was elected in 2018. He's kind of moderate Republican, a little bit, but the way he is conducting himself, I think he's gonna take a shot at the nomination.
Well, I think
Nikki Haley is just obvious. She's accrued quite the resume for. So I think she should take a shot, because I actually quite like her.
It's simple, really, for the Republicans. You have to decide, well, do they continue on the populist course, or do they not? I actually think they should continue down what Trump started. But if they're going to continue winning elections, if they're going to continue winning. But
whatever.
Because the Democrats will definitely not want to lose again.
Yeah.
Not like it's not like the Labour Party, where I don't think they've got anybody at the moment who's electable.
Yeah. So if you don't know who Elaine Chao is sort of my wild card. I think it's very unlikely for her to run, but for some reason my gut's telling me she's gonna make a bid for some reason. So Elaine Chao is the wife of Senator Mitch McConnell, actually.
I thought it was
her. What's her thing? She's in the Trump administration.
She's that's what she is.
She's the United States Secretary of Transportation, but she was also the secretary for something under Bush.
She's also
She is. She was the Deputy Secretary for Transportation under H.W. and the Secretary of Labor under George W. for all 8 years. So she has.
It's interesting that you think she's going to be able to run for president.
Yeah, she seems like somebody who deals with roads.
Seeing as she was born in Taiwan.
Oh wait, she was born in Taiwan?
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind that John McCain was born in Panama.
On a military base in Panama.
And Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
Well, each of them had... Wait, shit, she was born in Taiwan? Oh, throw that out the window, I guess. Never mind.
Born in Taiwan. Here, let me break this down for
Sounds
you.
Like
Shoot down this theory. Born in Taiwan to Chinese parents who left mainland China, who immigrated to the United States when she was 8. I don't think you could be president.
I thought she was born on U.S. soil.
No.
Like, I knew her parents were Taiwanese immigrants. I thought she was born on U.S. soil. Okay, never mind. Throw that out the window.
Oh,
I should have let you keep going for a little while before.
You should have. I would have looked stupid. Even more so than I do, I guess.
The reason I knew that is because Republicans are so savage. They call her a Chinese spy for the country. So I was trying to figure out where, if that was actually accurate, or they were just being, kind of racialist.
Probably racialist, considering she's from Taiwan.
She's from Taiwan. She's not from, the part of China that hates us.
Well,
she's from base China.
Who fled to Taiwan, so maybe there were spies then.
I don't know. If you would flee, I don't think you'd necessarily be a spy. More you'd move if you're a spy.
Dianne Feinstein, if you were a spy, you would disguise yourself as somebody fleeing.
True, yeah. I don't
Remember,
know.
Dianne Feinstein employed a Chinese spy in her office for only 20 years before somebody figured it out.
But the way I see it is, I think Andrew Yang is more like that, in my opinion.
You
He's from
think he's
Taiwan too?
Defo has links.
you think he's a Chinese
Yang
spy?
is a
Defo has
subversive.
links.
How, dude? He was born in the U.S. and his parents are from fucking Taiwan.
Defo has links, doesn't he? Then, because you don't know that, it could be all lies.
Wait,
trying to
what?
He's trying to use UBI to take over the United
Exactly.
States. Chinese communist.
Make everybody lazy.
No. No, Andrew Yang was actually very critical of China in the campaign, though.
Except
It was
he was
mostly-
also using identity politics to claim, Asian Americans are going to be attacked because of the trade war. It's like nonsense. Although then later on, I've read something that that the CCP have been galvanizing and mobilizing in Chinese communities across the globe to get PPE.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, that kind of makes sense as to why he would be saying those things now. And I thought, almonds activating.
Just
I'm only
because-
pulling your leg, Alcazar.
Yeah, I know.
Because
It's
he's
still
critical-
stupid though.
Just because he's critical of the Chi-Coms and he happens to come from Taiwan on paper doesn't mean it isn't a...
Dude, he wasn't even born in Taiwan. He was born in Schenectady, New York.
All right, just because his
Schenectady,
parents
you
happen
mean.
to- you
Huh?
act like he's never been a natural-born American citizen spy.
See, the reason why I know that I'm not Alcazar. I'm confusing my co-hosts. That Chicago is not a spy is because he is a rare breed. You are a Japanese.
My God,
Ammonite.
why are you bringing this up again? God
It's a
damn it!
meme. It's a meme.
You're a meme.
I know,
Al
but
Benny's
so are
in the
you.
chat. Everybody say hi to Al.
Hello.
Alf Benny's in the chat. He has a good channel. He does mashups. It's amazing, and he's a big Yang supporter.
Alf Benny.
Even though
That name sounds familiar.
we just confirmed that Yang is in fact a spy.
He is. In fact, you
Yep.
can't say that Taiwanese
And
people can't be
therefore,
communists.
People who support Yang are in fact subversives.
Indeed.
Alcazar.
Damn it, damn girl, you're right. I suck Xi Jinping's cock every night.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
so
after
cold.
taking 2 hours to find it.
Mind you,
Yeah, it's really small.
Speaking of China, though, have you ever thought about making a video on China, Sean? Because I've been thinking about looking into the topic.
No, I'm actually a Chinese spy too.
No,
so-
no. Make
I'm
Puerto
actually a
Rico-
Chinese spy too.
Make Puerto Rico
No,
commie
I did a
again.
video. I did a video on this organization called the Confucius Center, which poses as an organization meant to help English language learning among Chinese Americans. But there was a big Senate investigation that found out that they were getting all the departments of education that they partnered with to sign agreements to never disparage the state of China, and they weren't actually reporting back to the education policy, like their equivalent of the Board of Education. They were actually reporting back to their equivalent of the CIA, like their intelligence apparatus. So I have done a video on the Confucius Center specifically and how many schools in the United States they're in,
You know what's
both
interesting?
K-12 and college.
That sounds like a Soros kind of organization, doesn't it? Like the
Soros
name.
is a Chinese plant.
Well,
Change
well,
my
there was
mind.
there was a Senate investigation in the middle of the whole Russia thing, and it's funny because we talked about vague Russian interference in the election, but this is like a 15-year operation, millions of dollars, and like people have been arrested in connection with it. It gets no press.
Well, because Russia's always been the boogeyman in many ways, but the actual threat
Trump
is
boomers, and
the
they think it's the
CCP.
Cold War still.
Well, we're in a new Cold War. It's for China, not Russia.
The old Cold War, the one where we smacked the Russians. That
can-
one.
Well, you can argue it never ended.
The one where we clapped Moscow's cheeks.
But the thing is, it never really ended because China was never dealt with. In fact, the West cozied up to it to our detriment, I think, in an effort to defeat
because
the
you
USSR.
because you always cozy up to the number 2 power in Eurasia, which was China. Now it's Russia, so we should
But that's
cozy up to that.
Well, the problem is they were still communists. I think that the lesson of this is the enemy of your enemy isn't always your friend. That's a
Right.
mantra I don't abide by.
No, I agree.
The enemy of my enemy dies second.
Exactly.
There's a lot of this idea that you could just flip, you could just align with people that disagree with you. And we did empower China as a strategy to go after Russia, so I understand, that like strategically, but now China is a bigger problem than the USSR really ever was, except for nuclear capacity.
Yeah, the Russians still have more weapons, as far as I'm aware, but I think they have the smaller army. But again, not by much.
Well, also their army's shit because it's mostly conscripted.
China's, yeah. But then again...
Well, also
And
Russia.
Russia's.
Well, just because it's conscripted doesn't necessarily mean it's shit. It depends how well you train the conscripted soldiers. So, like, for example, in the Falklands War, Britain faced largely the conscripted soldiers who were poorly trained, but that's only because Chile, this is general-based Pinochet, he put troops on the border and threatened to invade, basically. And that meant Argentina couldn't afford to send their best troops against the actual threat, which was us. And then we reclaimed the island. So, like, it depends on the country. I think Russia, if they were Argentina, their conscripts would be miles better because they have a much better military. In fact, the USSR was basically a military state anyway. So, I don't think.
The fuck you DM me?
But I don't think their conscripts would be that bad. China as well. I don't know. I don't think their conscripts would be terrible. Certainly, they wouldn't be as good as a regular army. But again, I mean, the Grand Army for Napoleon, they were conscripts, but they were very well trained. It depends. It depends. You can't just say because you're a conscript you're necessarily bad.
For
But
China, they actually. Well, here's the thing. For China, they usually only train their troops for like 3 weeks, and one
Fair
of those
enough,
weeks
yeah.
is just them reading propaganda. While for the United States,
Today
at a
we'll be reading
minimum,
Engels.
yeah, for the United States, at a bare minimum, you get trained for 12 weeks.
In Britain, you get trained for 14, and again, I was about to say that regular forces always trump conscripts.
No, that's not true. The Israelis, they conscript their forces, and they have Wonder
wait, I
Woman
hadn't
as
finished.
one of their
I meant
soldiers.
to say that regular forces usually trump conscripted forces when it comes to willpower. Just wanting to fight, the will to fight, because they're voluntary. They know what they're signing up for, and that means they're more willing to fight. That's what I was going to say. Yes, I do know that.
The only exception is Israel, and it's because everyone knows that if they lose a war, Israel stops existing.
Well, they also have Wonder Woman in their army.
Yeah,
so,
have you seen the pictures? Woo.
Wonder Woman. Who the fuck is this?
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
She's
Actress.
Israeli,
She's an Israeli.
and she's very good looking in uniform.
You have a super chat. Why don't you read it? instead of making
Sorry.
it sound
Sometimes it's
terrible?
that. From British Night. Kim Yo Jong versus Natalia Polanskaya. Go. Well, it's Natalia Polanskaya, obviously. So that's
Simple. Melania Trump wins.
Okay, do you know who Natalia Polanskaya is? Actually?
Nope.
All right. Basically, she
I
is.
know what it is. Can I explain it?
Go on.
That's the first woman before Scarlett Johansson to hold the title of Black Widow.
Oh, cool.
Good reference, but in real life, she is or was like one of the really big, high up Ukrainian military leaders or something like that. But she was dead attractive. She's like a dead attractive blonde woman.
Like
She's the Deputy State Duma of the Russian Federation, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh, I thought she was Ukrainian. Oh well.
She might have been in the Russian Federation, but that doesn't mean she's not Ukrainian.
Yeah, true. I thought she was Ukrainian.
Ukrainian women,
Oh, well.
Ukrainian women are super hot. I'm just gonna put it out there.
So are Croatians.
Resident Evil. What's she called? You know who I mean. She was in The Fifth Element. Mila Jovovich. She's Ukrainian. Literally, she was born there. I think Mila Kunis as well.
Mila Kunis, I don't know if she's. All I know is
Yes,
that Eastern,
she is. I just looked it up.
Eastern Europeans that can barely speak English with that like heavy accent, super attractive.
Actually, there's a clip on YouTube with Mila Jovovich actually speaking Ukrainian on a Ukrainian TV show. It's well cool.
Cool.
See,
I just saw a Medium article where they said that Chew on Head and Vosh ruined the online left. And they put Vosh as the king of bread tube.
Well, no, the king is who would I say the king is?
That implies that he would be chat enough to even have a crown.
Well, we all know that the queen is ContraPoints. I would say the king is Sean, or at least Three Arrows, one of them two.
No, apparently they fight BreadTube and that. So for a news article to say he's the king of it is hilarious.
Oh, we've got
Who?
another...
Sean and Three Arrows?
No, I don't know. I don't fight with anyone. I'm nice.
Oh.
I fought with Sean a few times.
That's why I
I'm
fight
blocked.
with people.
Oh, I fight with these two retards all the time.
Yeah, well, we bully
Yeah, and you lose.
I win. I always win.
Anyway, we have a super chat
Big
from...
accident.
Anyway, we have a
Shove
super
that
chat.
X up your ass.
Oi, we got a super chat, lads. Anyway, this is from Chief Moody, fucking Moody. How much of a beta does Xi Jinping have to be to ban Winnie the Pooh? It's about the cult of personality. It's not necessarily that he's a beta. More it's about not looking...
Well, he is, but that's besides the point.
I don't think he is, but...
Well, he's not an alpha.
Well, you have to be in that position.
No, you really don't.
Don't you know if you're not a Republican man, then you're not an alpha?
Yeah, you
Well, no,
have
it's,
to.
Exactly.
it's the aura of control, isn't it? When your own people...
If you don't have my exact brand of right-wing politics, you're a soy boy and a cuck.
If it was just foreigners calling him Winnie the Pooh, he wouldn't have banned it. But because it was Chinese citizens getting in on the joke too, he had to ban it because it makes him and the Communist Party look weak. That's
Also,
what it is.
I wasn't saying that if you don't agree with my politics, then you're a soy boy. What I said was, if you're not a Republican, Jesse Lee Peterson, voice of a generation, says you're beta.
You were a beta. I can't do his voice. It's very weird.
Beta.
Actually, the ultimate irony is a lot of people who I know who are Democrats, almost all of them actually are betas.
I know one person who isn't. But anyway, you wouldn't know him. But anyway, Patrick Meredith for $2.99.
Joe Biden ain't a beta, that's for sure.
Now, I don't know if this is
Did
Canadian
you
or
hear that
American.
Tara Reid story?
I'm trying to read the super chat. CCP's evil. Thank you very much, sir. Continue, guys. Sorry.
That's from Patrick Meredith for $2.99. That means he uses an Apple, is what I learned. If you get the 99, that's an Apple device thing.
Really interesting.
South Park got banned in China, by the way. China.
China.
Yeah.
Evil Mongolians. I don't think there's a war though. That's brewing. I don't think so. I don't think in regards to China there will be a blow. I think Hong Kong will.
Well,
just
that's
simply...
an also. Well, and also, here's the thing. China's already pretty much lost the Cold War because we've exposed them for actually being pretty weak when it comes to, real crises.
Well, we can only hope. But what I was going to say is that we can't save Hong Kong, though. Unless something really special happens. I think they're going to be, incorporated. They're going to be completely subsumed.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately.
But
I
that
know
was
it's a
an
black pill.
inevitability.
Hong Kong
Yeah.
is like one of those hilarious moments where you realize that the myth of American social justice is just that, a myth, because the people in Hong Kong are waving their British colonial
Yes,
flag.
they are, yeah.
Protest.
I met
the
them in
CCP.
Manchester the other during those months, and they were waving the flags there too.
Bruh, it would be kind of fucking based though if the
Because
British.
if you
took-
want to know
we
why
took
they were
over.
there, it was not just some random protest. It was planned because the Tories have their conference here, and they were trying to get Boris Johnson to see them. I assume he probably did, but they weren't. The fact the British government said nothing during that whole time, just
Well, they gave up gave up control, so they can't really
yeah, it was Thatcher, who signed the agreement with the CCP when it should have been with Taiwan, because that was the actual, the successor government to who we originally got Hong Kong from, which was their monarchy. So, yeah, I still don't understand why Thatcher did that. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, what choice did she have?
Well, she had a choice. She could either talk to the actual legitimate government, the successor to the monarchy, or she could have just or she could have talked to
No,
the
the
CCP.
lease on Hong Kong expired.
It did, yeah, but we were still negotiating the
Keep
lease.
in mind that only the new territories were actually leased. Hong Kong
Yeah.
Island and Kowloon were legitimately owned
Mhm.
in
Well, yeah.
perpetuity.
Well, also, I mean,
No, like the British did basically, if you look at the Chinese, their century of humiliation, a part of that is when the British, like took Hong Kong from them, and then forced them to sign a lease later when the British started feeling bad about being a boss empire.
I think
And then
the lease
they
was
made
always a
Actually,
thing.
that's untrue.
That's not
That's
true.
untrue.
No.
They're like
Hong
"We
Kong Island and
promised-"
Kowloon were outright taken and not leased,
Mhm.
and then they expanded Hong Kong with the new territories, which were leased.
Yeah, but they leased it for like 99 years, which
Yeah.
when you're signing that lease, everybody involved is going to be
But
dead.
we were negotiating for the other islands, basically.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what it was.
Portugal gave up there's another one. I think it's
Macau.
Monaco, which
Macau.
is Hong Kong, but for Portugal.
Macau, yeah.
Macau. There we go. But
Monaco's
yeah, they
in France.
yeah, thank you. These damn M names. But yeah, like they did promise that they wouldn't fully integrate Hong Kong for 50 years, and obviously that's not happening.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bullshit.
I think the assumption was that they would become more liberal and capitalist. Well, it's not happened.
Well,
Yeah.
they should. Hong Kong really does shame the CCP more than anything because you have a little rock with none of the resources of mainland China, and even with all the economic gains in mainland China, the people of Hong Kong still have a Western standard of living in comparison.
In fact, I think they have a British mindset, I would say.
Yeah.
They also fucking blew up a fucking paddy wagon with no guns, which was based.
But it's not hard. You just get a Molotov. There you go.
Yeah, I know, but it's fucking hilarious still.
See,
we're not
we should have
hearing
been
a lot about-
funneling weapons into Hong
Was it a
Kong.
paddy wagon? I can't remember.
I think it's a thing where they drag on foot. I don't know. Hong Kong doesn't need them anymore. They got cars.
We're not hearing a lot about Hong Kong right now, and honestly, that was one of Trump's biggest busts as a president. Not saying anything really in support
He
of Hong
should have
Kong.
done that. Yeah, that would have helped
Like,
the trade war.
Well, he should make the moral case against China because his economic case. The problem is he actually believes that tariffs are magic economic fairy dust that are going to create prosperity. But he should have made the moral case for the tariffs and the moral case against and Hong Kong could be a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Because they're singing our national anthem in the street. They're asking for Donald Trump's help, and our Republican president that's supposed to be opposed to communism isn't saying anything.
Yeah.
China
That
is
Because he's a pussy.
the whole West is a pussy when it comes to China.
Yeah.
Well, because he doesn't it's because he doesn't care specifically about Hong Kong. He thinks it's good economic policy to have tariffs. It's not a moral issue for him.
You know what's a better economic policy? Driving away their economic hubs, like Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we know Trump could be funneling arms right now to the fucking Hong Kong protesters.
I
hope so
God, I
too.
hope he is.
But then we'd have
Can
to
we
get
still
involved
watch
in a land war.
FALs be the Chi-Coms?
I still think the British government come out worse just because the connection.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat, Jake Brocklink, is like, "Welcome to Shitty Walk. Can I take your order, please?"
South Park.
Wasn't there an episode that came out and said he wasn't really Chinese?
Yeah, it was like a psycho parody episode.
Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan should unite into their own country. On paper,
Well, Macau doesn't really want to.
No, Macau wants to be a communist, yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, communism.
Well, the Hong Kongers are technically not Mandarin. I think they're actually Han. They're Cantonese. I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they have the one country, two systems. I was talking about this with somebody who's born in Hong Kong, and you guys might know who it is, but she was explaining to me that they see themselves as Hong Kongers, not necessarily, not even Chinese or British nationals.
Yeah.
So it's not even with the time that has passed, it is not. They don't consider themselves mainland Chinese or Han Chinese.
I mean, Hong Kong is a nation.
Yeah, essentially it is.
Well, it's one country, two systems. Don't you know that? Don't you know anything? It's one country, just two systems. It's all China, though.
Again,
Hong Kong independence movement is fucking great.
They follow me, the ones who want to return to Britain.
Oh, there is. What are they called? I'll follow them.
God, I can never find their name. Hang on. Hong. What are they called? HK. There it is. HK at HK UK Reunite on Twitter. Oh, well, they used to follow me. Oh, they don't anymore. Oh well.
That happens to me. I was followed by Turning Point USA, and then they unfollowed me. And
I've met Charlie Kirk.
So have I.
You have?
Yes, I've told you this before.
When?
When I went to that dinner.
Oh
in
yeah.
London.
What dinner?
Oh, they had a Turning Point UK had a fundraising.
Oh, in the
dinner
UK.
in London, yeah. I just went for the meme.
I met him at a. I
went
met
for
him
the
at a
wine.
hotel too, where they had dinners and all that. That's why I was curious.
See, when I say I met him, he didn't really acknowledge me. He was talking to somebody else I knew, but I was right in front of him, and he didn't even bother to say hi to me and the other friend.
I told him that he was too tall and he was a demon.
He is really tall, isn't he?
How tall is he?
Oh, he must be over 6'3". I don't know.
He's like 6'4". He's big,
He
thin
is.
though, and he doesn't look like that on video.
No,
but
he
he's
doesn't.
Like, I literally introduced myself. So Kirk was next to this other guy that I was there for his event. So I introduced myself. This is the first time I met him in person. And then I go to shake this guy's hand, and I look up at his face, and I'm like, holy shit, you're Charlie Kirk. I'm like, you're so fucking tall. What's wrong with you? So,
Wait, who were you with?
I don't think he liked me.
Oh. Who are you?
He was with David Horowitz. I got invited to a David Horowitz event.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was like, you demon.
Yeah, he's
You
freakishly
foul
tall.
beast.
He's freakishly tall. It's. I was like, Jesus, I'm not even above your shoulder. See, I'm not the
you are
tallest, I'm-
5'8".
Yeah, but I'm usually above people's shoulders if they're above 6 foot. Like, one of my mates is 6'3", I'm above his shoulder, but not Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, so I don't think if he remembers me, I don't think he likes me because I was like telling everybody that he's like a freak, like a mutant, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, how tall are you?
I mean,
I'm 5'11". It's not that; he's also lanky, and
Oh
you
my
don't
god, it was
expect.
the meme. Oh, imagine you two together, it's a 6 foot 5'11" meme. If you've seen that.
Oh well, I always tell people like on a dating profile, I'm 6 feet tall.
Of course you are.
Nobody's measuring size, and that makes a huge difference when you're online.
Have you ever
No bitch
sometimes
shows up-
put 5'11" and a half?
No girl shows up to a date with a tape measure.
Yeah.
Like that's never happened.
Mm.
That's usually in her bedroom.
Oof.
But
see, usually whenever I have to go and put in my height, I just put in the word tall.
Tall.
it actually did bust me up once. One time I did go on a date and the girl was 6 feet tall, so
Wow.
she figured it out, and I was like, "You bastard!"
Well,
To be
I'm
fair,
I'm
that-
I'm
it's only
I'm
an
6'2", so I can fucking get away.
But the thing is, some people genuinely don't know their height, and they're usually only off by about an inch anyway. So,
Yeah, I know.
and the thing is, it's only 1 inch. It can't be
You have
that
a
much.
super chat from Patrick Meredith. Read it now. Read it.
Okay,
Read
hang
it.
on.
Read it.
I don't have double monitor, so. To be fair, the point of the tariffs was to get China to drop their tariffs and stop stealing our IP, intellectual property. Yeah, I've often thought that was the case.
No, that was the retroactive point. Go look at Donald Trump talking about tariffs throughout his whole life. He thinks they're good economic policy.
Ooh,
When he came into office, his economics people were like, well, let's use the tariffs as leverage against the Chinese to get them to drop it. But Trump has been saying tariff Japanese cars forever, tariff like all these different companies. He's been on this train for 40 years in his life.
Does he think it will bring back jobs or something as well?
Yeah, it's because it will. He thinks it will improve the United States economy. I'm fine with using tariffs as leverage, and if that's the practical outcome of his him being so tariff happy, then that's great. But I'm not going to pretend that's his design.
Also, Patrick says that he's 6'4" and it has downsides. Well, you got to be careful with doorways, I guess. And Maria's laughing, but I grew a centimetre last year.
Well, people used to be way shorter because when I was in Spain and I was taking tours of castles, I did smack my forehead on a doorway once.
Which is weird because actual studies of the medieval era, well, it depends which part of it, but in some centuries it was actually 5'9" was the average height in some countries.
Yeah.
So like in Henry VIII's time, Tudor England. Yeah, 5'9" was the average height because of nutrients and stuff, the diet. Very interesting.
Like Abe Lincoln was freakishly tall
For his day.
Even by his time. Like, he's 6'4", and that's still like tall today.
You know what's interesting? Charles I, right? He was 5'2", which was actually small for back then. It would have been maybe 5'5", 5'6". His son, Charles II, obviously, the guy he liked to party, he was 6'2".
Holy shit!
And you can see in their portraits.
He's as tall as me.
You can see in the portraits that Charles II is freakishly tall, and well, his dad's a manlet. I don't know how that happened.
It's a fucking beta.
He wasn't actually. He tried to be an absolute monarch, didn't he? So, hats to him, I guess.
Absolute monarchy's a beta move. Changed my mind.
Well, for Britain, it's a Chad move to try and create. and to be fair to Charles II, he was a Chad.
So how long is this podcast? I'm just curious.
We're about
it's
to
an hour.
end now. Yeah, we're about to end now. So,
Oh my god.
but we've got a lot of people, so it's like I don't know if we should go over or end at the appropriate time. Yes, Henry the VIII was 6 foot. Yeah, he was a very tall man. He was a tall boy. But yeah, I think we'll end it here. Unless you want. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, we didn't talk about Joe Biden's allegations, did we?
Go on. Then.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get on that.
Yeah, sure. Let's have talk about that for a bit.
Joe,
Wait, I need like 5, and then I'll come back talk Joe Biden's allegations, and I'll go to like 4:30 if you guys want, maybe a little longer.
Oh no, I got something to do.
15 minutes.
All right, fine. I'll run through the Biden allegations and not take my pause now.
Yeah. So basically, if you don't know, yesterday it came out Joe Biden. It's allegedly, by the way, in 2008, at a political event in Delaware, a girl who was 14 at the time said that when she met Biden, Biden said to her, quote, "You're well endowed for somebody your age." So basically, Biden told a 14-year-old that she has nice tits.
Nice.
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 Nice. But yeah, if he did that, that's creepy and fucked up.
That's not a real allegation. That's just somebody who's like, Biden noticed me.
Okay, Sean.
Well, I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Thanks, I hate it.
Like, the reason I'm joking about that is, what am I gonna do with that? She said that Biden said this to her when she was 14. Is there a way for me to prove that?
And even then,
not really.
So what? He's a creep.
I think the Tara Reid allegations are more imperative, and one of the reasons why I'm a little not trusting of that story is because the comment comes with Joe Biden also knowing that she's 14 in the same sentence. It's like too perfect to make him look guilty.
Well, she supposedly said when she met Joe Biden, she's the daughter of at the time a Republican senatorial candidate, and Joe met her and said, "Oh, how old are you?" And she said, "Oh, I'm 14," and then he said the comment.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying the story has, all the information to condemn him. It's like too perfect. You know what I mean?
I guess.
And it's also a Republican senatorial candidate, or I guess somebody who won. Like
no, it wasn't somebody who won. She lost.
Whatever, but it was a Senate candidate's kid.
Yeah.
That's saying it. So, there is some partisanship in there. I thought you wanted to talk about the Tara Reid thing.
Yeah, let's get into that, guys. So.
Oh, Tara Reid. Oh, okay. All right, we can get into the Tara Reid thing too, I guess. Well, that one was just new.
There's red flags with that story. And
there's tons of red flags.
Well, mainly the way everything just blacks out, and next thing she knows, he's all over her.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. In a lot of these fake allegations. Like Mattress Girl had that as well.
Yeah, well also, it came out recently that the story, the way it quote-unquote unfolded, right, was very similar to a scene in the novel her father wrote.
Oh my God.
Did you hear about that one, Sean?
Maybe her dad was super into this story.
No, it was like I think the novel was written before the incident. Or maybe it was written after. I don't know. Let me see. Let me find the article.
Well, doesn't she have links
If it was
to?
written after, then damn.
Doesn't
That's
she have? Well, again, just because it was written afterwards doesn't mean she couldn't have read it and then used it.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe Biden read it and he was inspired by the story.
Oh, well, what a black
Let's see. That's
douchebag.
right. Wait. Okay. Let's see.
Here's what
Robert
I'm
Moulton wrote a novel in 1998.
So it was after.
Yeah. So it was after the supposed incident, but it's yeah. So maybe her father was fucking weird and put it into the story. Which I don't know why. Why would you do that? That's just fucking creepy.
Well, what do you mean by similar?
It's
Come on, Kazai, don't let us down.
I'm looking through the. So the novel Lost, listed on Amazon and Google Books, contains a scene which bears an uncanny similarity to her allegation against Joe Biden. Quote, after several weeks of flirting with him, she spent the night in his room on Bleecker Street next to the door in the Russian strip joint. Actually, I will stop there as the scene gets pretty adult and would not be appropriate for a diary. You can see the highlighted text. You guys comfortable with me reading fucking rape scene from a novel?
How are we
You okay
supposed
with-
to
Thank
know
you.
what it says?
Yeah. I mean, well, basically, Tara Reid said Biden, like, finger banged her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens here. Like, so the book says, after several weeks of flirting, as soon as he closed and locked the door, he put his hands up her skirt. So, that's exactly what Biden did.
I mean,
Only minus the flirting, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the context of the what you call it? What's the context of the book? Is it like an attack, or is it just like, that's
Yeah, it
coincidental?
didn't sound like an attack.
Well, let's see. Fine. As soon as she closed the door, he put his hands up her skirt, grabbed her buttocks, and slid his hands under her panties, spread her cheeks, and rammed his fingers into her. In spite of her fear, she eventually responded the way coupled on the rickety bed, jolting it until his metal legs nearly gave away.
That sounds like
Yeah,
like he's ripping off straw dogs, but
Yeah.
Look, that's not that uncommon of a descriptor. So I don't know how valuable that is. But here's one of the big red flags for the Tara Reid story is that she herself says that she filed a basic sexual harassment claim against Biden.
Mhm.
So even though there are people calling, they have her mom calling, they never say what her mom is specifically talking about. So she could have reported harassment against Biden, and then over time that evolved into assault.
potentially. Didn't she also say that she filed a police report? I think that was in the original New York Times article.
No, she filed one. She filed one this year to have a record
Oh.
to show that she was serious, even though the statute of limitations was expired.
Yeah.
But he filed a Senate report, like a Senate like basically a workplace complaint, supposedly, but there's no apparent record of it.
All right.
But Biden might have the record of it in his papers that he gave to the University of Delaware, and he's having the University of Delaware seal them.
He should just release it if he's innocent.
No, he is. Biden is releasing it.
Oh, he did. He's changed it up on that.
Yeah, he pretty sure. I mean, yeah.
Well, last I heard, he was saying it's not in there, and I'm not going to release it because it's not in there. Don't look in there.
Well, anyway, do you think it's actually going to affect his political campaigns? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The stuff about Trump, which was also bogus, didn't affect him either.
It's funny that Trump actually didn't take advantage of it. He was like, I've been falsely accused.
Yeah, see, look, CNN says Joe Biden sends letter requesting Secretary of Senate to release any Tara Reid documents.
Oh yeah, those are different ones. That the personnel files are supposed to be sealed for 40-something years.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's 50 years actually, or something like. I forgot what the time it is, but it's a long time. So it wouldn't come out without the aid of some kind of boost in the time period until like 2040, something like that.
Mm.
So when we're a bunch of old.
Well, he is requesting that the documents be released.
But that's
so,
not the University of Delaware documents. So Tara Reid says that in his senatorial papers that are donated to the University of Delaware, that's where the complaint might be. Biden saying that he's going to send it to basically HR that holds these records for 60 years, whatever ridiculous number they lock this stuff up for. He's sending a letter there that if they have anything, release it, but he's not releasing his Senate papers that he donated to the University of Delaware.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which should be public anyway, regardless of whether it has what's specifically germane to this situation. He was a senator for years. The idea that you could hide your papers, after you leave office is a little ridiculous.
All right.
Oh, got another super chat by Patrick. Thank you once again. I think Trump didn't bash Biden because he doesn't want to run against Bernie.
Well, Bernie's dead. It's over.
I know.
I guess he's talking
maybe-
about in retrospect.
Well,
No, the allegation came out after the campaign was pretty much over.
I think it
Yeah.
was just before it was over. Well, you're right. After the that's the thing, isn't it? Right after the primary, where it was pretty much done and dusted.
She supposedly did try to report it to like the Me Too and Times Up organization,
Yeah, and
and
they were
that's
like,
what doubled on the Biden campaign.
oh, the hypocrisy from them was telling. Oh well, we could, but oh no, politically inexpedient. Because he's not a bloody film producer; he's a politician, which could affect.
Well, he's a Democratic politician
Yeah.
that could be president soon, not a Democratic politician that's done anyway. So it doesn't count.
And I think this whole scenario really beyond what it'll do to Biden. I don't think it'll do anything to Biden. I don't think anything's going to come of it. He's not going to go to court for it. She's not, I don't think she's even trying to take him to court, as far as I know. All this will do is expose the hypocrisy of the left over this issue.
It is funny that they won't have her on air. They're gatekeeping her off air for the mainstream media. They literally trotted out any random person for Brett Kavanaugh, but for Biden, nope, nothing. Can't find her. Oh, and also she wrote a nice word about Russia 2 years ago. Therefore, Russian spy.
Alcazar sent me a thread, and she was even up until she announced what happened to her when she came out. She was supporting Biden, and then later on Sanders. And doesn't she have links to the Sanders campaign?
She supported Warren, then Sanders.
Ah, right.
Because she's not going to support Biden because he's the guy. But she hasn't brought this story to any Republicans or anything like that. She went to Me Too. She was aligned with Warren. She's not a Trumper Republican or anything like that.
But I think to some extent I think there was one tweet that wasn't that long ago. It wasn't 1 or 2 years ago. It was a couple months ago. She was saying, "That's the guy I used to work for," Biden or something on Twitter. Am I right?
Hint. I mean, look, there's more corroborating evidence that they at least had a connection. The mom called around that time than anything with Brett Kavanaugh. But I don't. Obviously Biden does deserve due process rights. This is really more making fun of the hypocrisy of the Democrats than Joe Biden actually did this. I don't know that.
And the fact that Trump hasn't used it against him is pretty.
He has a new ad. He had a new ad came out that
I know a
used.
lot about false allegations, so I think Biden should address it, but I'm not ready to comment on it.
But anyway, I think that's all we have for today, though. Thank you very much, Sean, for appearing.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you for the last minute scramble.
It's all right, don't worry. So anyway, we have at the end. We always have a final word. So Sean, final words.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel, YouTube.
I will post the link in the description.
Then follow me on the Twitter. I have a Discord. It's a Discord channel on Discord too.
He's on the Discords.
Yeah, I'm also a moderator on there's Discord if you want to see my degeneracy there.
Nobody cares. Chicago, last words.
Join my Discord.
Yes, join the market
It's
of ideas.
terrible.
And no, you must embrace the Austrian and Chicago economics, guys. Come on, you know you want to.
No.
Not everybody here is of those schools.
Ooh.
Alcazar, any last words?
My final words. I will have a video, hopefully by the end of the month, on Soviet imperialism.
Nice. And
Nice.
Nice, nerd.
my final words are China
Um,
is asshole.
My
Goodbye.
final words are thank you guys for having me on.